Okay, in this tutorial we're going to have a look at functions and functional notation. Okay, so first of all we need to have a little bit of a chat about functions and relations. Okay, so relations are sets of ordered pairs. Okay, what that means is we have a heap of x values with corresponding y values. Okay, functions are relations where there is a unique y value for each x value. Okay, so we don't have, say, for x equals 3, y equals 4 and y equals 8. Okay, we can only have one y value for each x value. On a graph of a function, you can draw a straight line anywhere and it will only cross the graph once. Okay, and that's called the straight line test, or the vertical line test, sorry. Okay, so we can draw a straight line, it will only cross it once. Okay, if we do that same thing with a horizontal line, then the function is said to be 1 to 1. Okay, so with functional notation, okay, this is how we write functions. So we start off with a letter. Okay, often it'll be f, but whatever we like. Okay, so that's our letter used for our function. We go a colon, okay, and then we go. Often it'll be just r to r. Now this first r is our domain. Okay, now that's what x values the function can take on. Now often that might be imposed by the function itself, or we might restrict it. Okay, so we might want to put on a restriction, but for example, a log graph, which looks like this, has a restriction anyway of being from 0 to infinity. Okay, so we need to put that in as our domain. Okay, otherwise we might want to restrict it further and say only go from 3 to infinity, something like that. So our function is going to start off up here somewhere. Okay, and keep going. Now, second one is a little bit more complicated. It's called our codomain. Okay, so it's what y values, okay, we're allowing the function to take on. Okay, so it's any restrictions in the y value, but it's not the range of the function. Okay, so if we had, say, a quadratic that goes like this, okay, the range would be from 0 to infinity. Okay, but we're still going to leave our codomain as r because we're not putting any restrictions on the function. Okay, so this is only any restrictions in the y direction. Now with the scope of the course, you'll probably never ever change that or see anything different from r. Okay, then we do comma and then actually have our function. So usually f of x, it could be f of y, okay, could be anything that you like. Okay, as long as that letter and that letter are the same, that's an important step. Okay, equals whatever it is. Okay, now we've got a bit of notation that we use here. Okay, so our r is all real numbers. Now you might come across some other ones like z, which is integers, different things like that. Okay, but for most of the time in our functional notation, okay, we're going to use r. Now r plus or r minus, okay, are all real positive numbers or all real negative numbers, excluding 0. So they don't include 0. Okay. Now a backslash means excluding. A forward slash means including. A set of round brackets, also known as parentheses, okay, is a range of values, not including the endpoints. Okay, so we don't include the endpoints when we've got round brackets. Okay, for our square brackets, okay, it's our range of values, so anything between them, okay, including the endpoints. Okay, now I call these on squiggly brackets, but their proper name is braces. Okay, and they're individual values. Okay, so you could have a whole list of values, more than just 2. So you're only ever going to have 2 numbers in here. Okay, here you have a whole big list because only individual values. Okay, and this sign here means union. It kind of looks like a U without the line put on it. Okay, it means union or both. Okay, so we could have, you'll see some examples in a minute, where we could have r plus. Okay, but we also want to include, okay, some values below 0. Okay, so we could use a union rather than using including. Okay, so there's a few different ways that we can use this notation and end up meaning the same thing. Okay, so I've got a few examples here to show you. Okay, so here we've got, actually I might come back to that because that one's actually probably one of the harder ones. Okay, we'll start over here. Okay, so here we've got r plus. Okay, means all our positive numbers excluding 0. Okay, union from -3 to -1. Okay, so let's start with the r plus bit. Okay, that's represented by this part of the line here. So not including 0, but anything bigger than it, all the way up. Okay, this part here, we're starting at -3, but not including it. That's why it's not coloured in. Up to -1, square bracket means we're going to include it and colour it in. Okay, if we put them together. Okay, this one here is all real numbers, excluding the points 1, 2 and 3. So we've got all our numbers but just an open dot at 1, 2 and 3 because they're not going to include them. Okay, this one here would be all real negative numbers including the point 0. Okay, that's a common one that we need to do. Okay, or same with positive. Okay, so we've got a coloured in dot here. Now this one here is a little bit tricky. Okay, so we're saying all real positive numbers excluding from 1 to 3. Okay, but because they're round brackets, we're not going to exclude them. Okay, so they will actually be included in our range. So it's a little bit tricky because this is the range of values that we're going to exclude. So we're going to exclude anything between 1 and 3, but not 1 and 3. Okay, so that one's a little bit of a trickier one. Okay, so look, it's one of those things that it's not a massive thing. You're never going to have any actual questions come up on an exam or a SAC that specifically ask you to do things with this sort of notation, but it's just going to be implied, so that you're going to see functions written using this type of notation, so you need to have a handle on what it all means. So hopefully they'll be enough to get you through.